Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I've been having a tough couple of weeks since the last time we saw each other. I think I texted you on LinkedIn about it. Like I've been
Yeah,
having like
yeah, you messaged you I think you messaged on LinkedIn about having
so
panic
I've kind of
panic
been just
attack.
like
Yeah.
coping, like lifing, I guess. Dealing with like the anxiety that that encounter caused me on Easter. Um, so I hope that you'll forgive me for not being 100% on top of things the way I should have
No,
been.
no, no, Maxie, I understand. It's no problem. I'm very patient. I'm very
Okay.
patient in understanding when people go through a difficult time. So no
Um,
worries about that.
the career quiz you asked me about last time, I picked my top two topics. I guess the first one is satisfying immediate financial needs.
Right.
And then the other one, I guess, is like the spiritual guidance part of it.
Okay, okay.
I think that those two things would help me the most of
Yes,
the.
no, I agree 1000% with your assessment. Do you have the score? Did you submit the scores? I want to make sure that I have them here in front of me. Give me a moment to
I don't know if I submitted them, but I did submit the quiz a few weeks ago.
I probably printed the results here. Give me just a moment to I can always locate here it is. I found it. I found it. So you scored you actually scored a step three, discovering your unique genius, an eight, and then also Lone Ranger, an eight, and beliefs about job and career money, an
Yeah, I
eight.
wasn't quite sure if I was answering the question correctly. It seemed
That's okay.
like
Well,
over the
it's really okay though because it makes sense for us to focus on the two items that you just mentioned, immediate income, short-term financial, and then the spiritual part. Uh, so yeah, we can isolate those two and we can just focus on those two for now. And then we can always add other things later, okay? Okay. But I have a couple questions I want to ask you, okay? So in regards to the panic attacks that you've got a B, is that B for Bitcoin or
It's Sambol. One of the security guards at the library saw that my coat was so tattered, she wanted to bring me an NFL jacket. So she brought me
oh, okay.
a Bengals jacket.
Oh, that was okay. Okay,
I really
so that's
don't follow
that's
football.
actually Bengals. It's actually
Yeah,
Bengals, right?
Bengals. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, anyway, what I wanted to ask you about the panic attacks, is this something very new that has just come up now, or has this been a pattern you've had earlier?
Um, I will trust you to keep this like,
Totally, totally private.
okay. I've been going through a very intense and crazy. It's not really domestic violence. Some people like who you talk to, like domestic violence is typically like viewed as like, like a husband beats his wife or something, or like
Right, right, right.
so they actually said it's more like sexual abuse. I've been going through this for more than 10 years now. Um, one of the people, a couple of the people involved in this have some fathers who are very powerful and influential.
Okay.
It seems like they feel like they can do anything they want to, and by and large, they have.
So yeah, but
How
wait,
it
wait, just
really
yeah.
started. I moved from UIUC in Urbana, Illinois.
Okay.
I got my master's degree. Before I went to Georgia Tech, I actually enrolled at University of Washington in Seattle. So I moved out there. My parents had moved to Florida. They were like the whole country away, and I'm basically there by myself. Um, and I got very brutally like raped and attacked by these two men.
God.
And that's when the panic attacks started. Like
Okay.
to the point where you're breathing so hard and you're so short of breath that you can pass out and hit your head and end up in the emergency room kind of thing.
How long? Okay, just slow down just a minute. But so, how long ago did that experience happen in that attack?
2014.
How long?
2014. 2014.
2014, my
14
goodness.
attack I registered. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
They put me in the emergency room. I really didn't know what to do about it, but it was because of that trauma.
right. So you've been going through this like for 11, essentially
On and
11.
off in intensity, like some time periods are better. You don't have as severe panic attacks, like anxiety
Right.
the whole time. But I saw Psycho Boy, my stalker. I guess I don't want to tell you whose kid he is because like people can get so crazy and polar. It's someone very powerful.
Okay,
You know,
yeah, you don't need to
I
divulge
saw him
anything
on
that here.
Easter, and it's like, that morning, I had stayed up all night, and I was working on this math proof, like a math paper,
Uh-huh.
that I've been looking at this problem for a number of years, and I finally just figured out how to do it, like, just kinda like something was
Yeah,
helping me, and it's like you make that
right,
breakthrough, and you just do it very quickly, and it's very short.
right.
Like one of these, like, 30, 40-page papers or anything, it's like 9 pages, and it proves basically, a famous, math conjecture.
Okay,
I'm going through the motions of like getting it published and showing it to people, so it's not something you would like be able to go and search for on Google right now,
right, right,
but maybe in a few months. Um, but I did that and I was on such a high about it. And I'd sent some friends of mine who aren't mathematicians, but they're, like smart ladies, people I still keep in contact with from UIUC.
right.
They're smart people. They do computer science, but they can read it, and like figure out what I did. Um, and for whatever reason, I guess he monitors my Gmail or something. He just wanted to kind of, pardon my language, but come and shit on my day. So he showed up. It was really intense. And for like the last 2 weeks, I've been having kind of like a constant panic attack. I almost went to the emergency room to get like a benzo for it. That's typically how you have to knock this stuff out when you're like that short of breath. Breathing exercises aren't going to do it. You kind of just need
Right.
like a
No, I understand. I
right?
understand.
Yeah.
It's a very severe and intense thing. So when you've been going through these things, you have gone to emergency room on occasion, and they have given you some sort of like a shot, some sort of shot, or what?
Usually it's like a high dose of Klonopin. I don't know. I think I've taken Xanax before, but it was a really long time ago. Like having prescriptions for this stuff, but like I reasoned about it. I'm like, should I go to the emergency room today? And
Right,
I've
right,
some good friends around me who were like, you're not going to be alone today. I'm not letting you go out by yourself today and stuff.
right, right.
I'm like, I really don't feel like doing it. If I went in there, they'd just give me a pill. It would be good for like 3 hours, and then I'd be right back in the hole tomorrow. Like
Yeah,
what's
so
the
it only lasts for a limited amount of time, and then it comes back again.
Yeah, but usually panic attacks are that short term in nature. This one's been going on for like 2 weeks.
Right. Well, I
That's
understand.
how much that experience and that interaction took out of me. That's how much it's been affecting me. Like my
Let me slow you down a little bit because I just want to ask a couple of questions. All right, is that okay?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So have you tried oxygen? Does oxygen help at all?
I don't think I've tried oxygen for a panic attack. No.
I mean, because you can get these portable oxygen generators, and you may be able to get a thing for your face, and it might be just worth testing out to see how the oxygen works, you
Just to
know?
get like that, like yeah, because when you're not really breathing like a lot of
Yeah, you're not breathing well, your body's not getting enough oxygen, and
yeah, and you feel
also
really
it's
confident.
very very possible that oxygen could have a calming effect. Also, I want to just also mention a very simple thing with magnesium. Magnesium supplements, high dose magnesium supplements have a profound effect on the nervous system.
Okay.
So you may want to experiment with that. One thought that occurs to me is you can ask any AI that you're comfortable that you use AI for whatever reasons. You could ask the possibilities of how is there any empirical statistical data that shows certain things will help a panic attack, like magnesium or oxygen or things of that nature.
Yeah, my
There,
doctor, who writes a lot of my prescriptions for various
yeah,
for various things from like depression and anxiety to
yeah,
like ADHD. she doesn't like to write high doses of controlled substances, and she won't actually give me a benzo prescription. So I've been
Right,
taking
right.
cuisine, which is like it's an antihistamine. It does help.
Yeah, but it's for
It's not
short-lived
like
though. It's
it's gonna
short-lived.
do it. Klonopin would. No, it's not going to do it. I've taken
See,
Klonopin for.
that's the Moxie, that's the reason I'm asking the questions that I'm asking, because
Yeah,
if you go with a natural remedy, if you go with a remedy like oxygen or magnesium or anything that has been proven to have an effect on the nervous system, it's a natural substance, so you don't need a prescription for it. You could
yeah,
just get it and it could help enormously. There are other things that are possible also for your nervous system. But I mean, various oils. There are oils. There are calming, various types of calming things. There's also something I could recommend that you and I could teach you some methods that you could, that you could do, which will have an effect. So we can work on that today a little bit. But I highly recommend staying with natural remedies and natural substances. Don't go for the control thing, because one is short-lived, it's not going to last. And number two, it also has the potential of being, more addictive,
yeah,
if you do it a lot.
yeah.
So I think it's better to stay away from them. Now, let me ask you this question. Have you ever tried doing a simple breathing exercise where you close your eyes and you focus your attention on your body, and you focus on whatever part of your body is where you're feeling any sensation whatsoever? It doesn't matter what the sensation is, but if you ever tried that? And what I want to is, and let me explain to you what I have in mind, because it's very specific, okay? It's a breathing method where you take four count of four inhale. You inhale on a count of four spaced, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when your lungs are full, you hold your breath in for a count of four. So you hold it in 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when your lung, go ahead,
Oh,
have
like
you tried it?
my initial reaction is having been through so many panic attacks of varying intensity that might work for like you wake up in the morning and maybe you're just
Yeah.
uneasy. Uh, when you're having just like a severe kind of panic attack that's like borderline going to the emergency room, that's not going to work. That's not going
Well,
to do
okay, I just wanted to mention it
it. Okay.
just to make sure we covered that. Okay, good. Let
Like
me,
like Tony Soprano or something where he just like passes out and hits his head. Like like
oh,
it's
yeah, yeah, no, no,
like you just
no,
it
I
doesn't come
understand.
with like warning signs or anything. You just like
And let me ask a different question. Have you ever done anything where your attention is shifted in a very dramatic, any methods where which brings your attention to a very different focus, like you bring, because you have control over your attention. Have you ever tried anything that occupies your attention in a very intense kind of way?
well, this is why the ADHD treatment like makes sense to me. Not only does it make you feel good, like it's a stimulant and stuff, it is
Right.
controlled. I know you say to stay away from it, but that one's kind of not optional. But like no, it lets me sit there and focus on like either writing like a math paper or sitting there and working on like an open source like software project,
Right.
and it's kind of an escape, like for those hours when you're like just like into that project and you're really just
Yeah.
not thinking about anything but like what's going on in your brain. It's kind of like a release. That
But I mean, the fact that it's fascinating to me because I have a mathematical background, and I can identify, as you know, I can identify with times in my life similar to what you're describing with the proof, where I was preoccupied with a problem for a while and it absorbed, it was very absorbing, and it grabbed all my attention and
yeah.
I got focused in on it. And sometimes they can have almost a kind of a meditative effect when your mind is so concentrated on, you know what I mean, on one particular thing.
On something that's not like like immediately like right there in front of your face and you're like yeah it's
Right.
great
Yeah.
like
So
it
I
works
mean,
really well.
if you can do that, if you can do that, then I highly recommend using any mental technique that really, really, really absorbs your attention. because a lot of what happens with the panic attack and various other related types of things, it's function of attention, even though there's emotion involved in it. But attention becomes still a trigger point, like when you can get your attention shifted and focused. Now, what I want to do, I want to ask you a couple of questions about the event, the initial event that you
That triggered
yeah,
everything.
that triggered this. There was, of course, obviously a trauma there, which I'm sure that you
There's a
are
history of
aware of.
trauma, and it triggered it. I really like the way that man. It's not just what he did in like Seattle. It's like this is like like sexual abuse. It's been going on for a number of years, and he just doesn't seem motivated to stop. Um,
But wait a
it's
minute,
like
wait a
he
minute.
just
But
wanted to
what?
take that high away from me, that math paper high away from me. So for whatever
Well,
reason,
yeah,
like
well, what is your relationship with him? Do you have some relationship with him?
I've never. He was my neighbor in Atlanta, and I got to know
Okay,
him very briefly. My mom told me not to go near him after he drugged me really bad one night, and I kind of put this together. Some crazy stuff
okay, okay.
happened. Like
But
you
you're
wouldn't believe some of the crazy stuff he's done. But
okay.
he's my
I
neighbor in
believe
Atlanta.
you.
I've never
Okay,
had a consensual romantic relationship with him. He's
okay, okay. But you're in the Seattle area now, correct?
no, I'm in Chicago right now.
You're in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm
So,
in
okay,
Chicago.
all right, you're in Chicago. Okay. Is he in your the general vicinity near you,
I think
around
he
you?
followed me to Chicago. He did. He's
He
crazy.
followed you to Chicago from
I've got to
Atlanta?
get restraining orders. Some people are like the judge in Illinois DV court. Um, they did a continuance. They're like, okay, what you write down, we want to help you get like a long term restraining order. Something like 25, 30 miles, so he can basically not be in the city while I'm there.
Okay.
Um, because it's civil court, it's the petitioner, aka me, who files for the restraining order.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to get him served and notified of the hearing, and he has to be notified of it before it will go through. So what they told me was because the last accurate address I had for him was out of state and I couldn't get him served. They said I have to get a private investigator. So I'm going through some resources that I have around me right now
Yeah,
to try
but what
to
about
barely
hold
afford
on. Okay.
a
What about a criminal restraining order? Can you go to a criminal court
I
and
have filed a police report, and some good nurses at a local healthcare facility helped me like talk to the police and help me communicate and make sure they took it seriously for sexual assault when he did that to me in my last apartment.
okay.
That was it's like November of 2023.
Okay.
Um, Despite like in past states like in Florida and Georgia, they wouldn't have even taken my police report. They wouldn't have actually given me a police report. That's how powerful his father is.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's
So his
crazy. It's
father
crazy.
had
Like he
okay,
paid someone off, or they just like they wouldn't have even let me file the police report. So in Chicago, I
right.
get to file the police report. So I followed up with the detective. He asked me, "Did you have a rape kit done afterwards?" And I've actually had a rape kit done before, but it was in Florida. I didn't have it done in Chicago after he assaulted me this last time. And his
Is it possible for you to move to another location and not have your location disclosed in any way?
no, and you know what? Like I'll just be honest and like disclose this. I've been living at a women's shelter,
Okay,
a DV women's shelter, like domestic violence women's shelter, for about little under a year and a half now.
okay, okay.
Somehow I don't know if he hacked my phone. This guy's like good at like looking things up on the dark web. Like he can pay for
Right,
anything on the dark web. He can basically do whatever he wants. That's how
right. No, no, I understand. I
he
understand.
followed me over there within like the first couple of weeks that I was over there. Like I saw like in-person stalking events from a distance. Like he's sitting out in his car and like staring me down, at the bus stop. So
So you're aware.
I don't think like I don't think I'm going to be able to prevent him from knowing my location.
Okay, okay. Well, but you still can figure out some way to protect yourself. There will be you will be able to
I've
find
thought
some
about
way.
getting a firearm. I've thought about all sorts of different ways to do it. I've thought about getting roommates or living with like like other
Yeah,
women who are survivors of this type of trauma.
yeah.
I don't after what happened on Easter, and that's part of why it shook me because I was thinking about getting an apartment, like going to another apartment. I really believe that he would think that he could do the same thing to me there and do it again. And it just like without those restraining orders, it I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. So I can't go to an apartment right now. I can't do it because I won't be physically safe.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, well, I understand your situation, and I know it's very extreme right now. Uh, what I will say is that we can ask for guidance. We can, we can, like I said, you said that spiritual guidance is something important to you now, which we can get some spiritual
Yeah,
guidance.
and part of the reason I'll just tell you, like I see a therapist once or twice a week.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I have like a counselor who's there to kind of let me vent through some of this stuff and like talk me through it. Um, but one of like because of who it was that did it, like and the resources and the power that they have, I accept and understand why some of these circumstances are so bizarre and crazy.
Right.
They have the ability to do that, right? What doesn't make sense to me, and a question I just keep like racking my brain about and
Right.
overanalyzing, is why me? Why
Yes.
would I have been the one who's on
Yeah.
this person?
Why are you
Like
exactly?
I'm
Why are
going
you being
through, I'm
targeted in
not.
this way?
Yeah, and some people like the best answer I've had told to me, which is probably the one I'm going to go with right now, is just accept that you're never really going to get a good answer to that question.
Well,
There's really not
you
a good
might
reason.
just slow down a little bit. You might be able to get an answer, but it's not going to be in the perhaps in the type of answer that you might expect or want to get. But I will say one thing, and just hear me out for a second. One of the premises here to understand about this is that there is a purpose. There's nothing like of this nature or really anything, any pattern that is without purpose. There is a purpose. There could be many different,
Yeah, and for the past number
very
of
deep
years, I really
spiritual,
haven't been
emotional things.
speaking to
Yeah,
God about this. Like
yeah.
I would speak to God for years and years and years, but after this really just like hit hard, like I'm like, why? If God cares about me or if like whatever, like
It does, yeah, but it does, yeah, but Maxie, it
I won't
really
talk to God
doesn't,
right now.
it doesn't work like that. Okay, so just let me just say that just generally here, it's
Yeah.
not an answer that you get through the normal inquiry questioning channel with the kind of question that you would be inclined to ask. It's a different kind of question in a different context. But what I do want to say, stay with me on this, let's go slow. There are people who specialize in trauma recovery. In fact, there is some incredible, again, you could call it coincidence, but there are no coincidences. So over the course of just the last couple of days, I met with a woman who specializes in trauma, in working with people who've been through trauma. I'd have to look at my records, and I could connect you with her, and you could undoubtedly do like a Zoom session with her. Okay, I have to check in. I have to, backtrack, check in, find who the person is, and then I can message you. You and I have a text exchange thing, and we also have the LinkedIn. So we have our LinkedIn and we have the text thing. Texting is just easier at the moment. Well,
Okay.
what I can do is check in on that, and I can, but what I want to recommend is that we do it as an inquiry, not as an answer of like, why is God doing this to you? Why does He pick you? What those kind of questions are rather just an opening for guidance, an opening for guidance. Okay, and when you do it in that fashion, you're going to get an answer, and then it's going to be a sequence of messages. It's not like one single answer that solves everything or one thing that resolves it. Okay. Because this is a deeper level, soul level pattern. It's a soul level, emotional, psychological, spiritual, soul level pattern. Okay. There could be various different things going on at a deep soul level. There could be past life connections. There could be karma. There could be agreements, there could be many different things that are playing into this, okay? Now, I can do several things. I can look at your birth chart, but I have looked at it when we first met, but I didn't look at it from this vantage point, and I didn't look at it from this lens to look at it from this way, okay? If I look at it again with this particular perspective, there's possibly some things that are going to pop out at me that I'm going to start to see. I do remember when I looked at it the first time, which is, I guess, maybe 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, something like that. I did see that you were going through some very intense shifts in your life, and some big lessons were being learned and some big changes were occurring. Okay. But guidance in regards to this uh, problem, issue, how, with just this simple, basic question. Please give us how to best approach it or how to best deal with it. Okay, but I want you to say it in your words. I want you to say it out loud and say it in your own words. That's sort of the general gist of what I'm giving you, but you can say it in your own words, and it's going to be important for you to say it in your own words out loud. Go ahead and just ask what you want to know about
Want me to-
guidance and feedback. Go ahead.
Um, I want to know why this person or these people chose me, and
That's not, that's, no. Stop. I want you to have the question in a broader, trust me on this one, just trust me as a first step to be with it a little bit broader than that. You don't want to drill in so deeply. What I want you to do is step back and look at it as a overall pattern, problem, issue in your life. Please give me guidance on this issue, problem, pattern, and what is the best way for me to deal with it. So don't drill down immediately into this person or what's going on physically. Just deal with it more as an inquiry, a spiritual inquiry to get guidance about this pattern. And that's what I recommend you ask. All right. But you can use your whatever words you want, whatever specific words you want to use.
So I want to make an inquiry into, I guess, the history, broader speaking. Um, that includes this why me specific, um,
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but
All right.
also, I want to know how to deal with this. How do
Good.
I move forward when this is still going on?
Good. Excellent. Very good. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you for that. And then just one last thing I want you to say out loud. I give Howard permission to roll the dice for me.
Okay, I give Howard permission to roll the dice for me.
Okay, very good. Just give me one moment to tune
You
in, all
feel like
right?
you have some interesting perspectives. That's why I keep meeting with you. It always just it's
Yeah, I
interesting.
know. Well, if we pursue this, things are gonna bubble to the surface and come through, right? Just give me a moment. Okay, so the answer you got was, as I suspected, this is a pretty deep issue.
Yeah,
It's a soul level
it's
issue.
been going on since at least when I was like 2 years old. It's kind of like
Yeah, the
I don't
answer
know.
you got, I'll just tell you the symbols and then I'll give you my interpretation, okay? So you've got Neptune, Pisces 12. Neptune, Pisces 12. Those are the three symbols, because there's a planet symbol, a zodiac symbol, and a number from 1 to 12 symbol, okay? And they each have a meaning, and then the way you interpret the dice is you get the meanings and then you put them together and you get a whole answer, okay? All right. So this is a very, very deep soul pattern that you've been in for some time. And there is a lesson to be learned, perhaps many lessons to be learned, but it is something your soul is experiencing in order to grow out of something, in order to transform something, to grow something, to heal something that's very, very fundamental at a soul level. Okay, now let me just give you another perspective here on this. The soul evolves from lifetime to lifetime. Okay, we each go through multiple chapters in our evolution. So in the conventional knowledge, we have one life and that's it. But viewed in a much larger context, it's not how it works. Our soul is long-term infinite, and it goes through chapters and lifetimes and experiences and lessons. And sometimes the lessons last a long time. Sometimes they're multiple because for whatever reasons, once you understand them. Now, there are tools that are available that people who are gifted and skilled in this sphere of spiritual growth. There are many types of tools that are available. I mean, I could go on and on for hours about that, but that's not important in this moment. The thing to know is that there are many tools available that will allow you to peel the onion down more and get to the heart of the matter of what this is and to begin the healing process for it. The journey for you is not only solving the problem, is what I'm getting, what's coming through to me, the opportunity and the lesson and the challenge for you is not only solving this particular specific issue problem with this particular man, and this pattern with this man, and what's happening with you physically and emotionally is one layer, is simply a layer of this, okay? But it's a manifestation of something. In other words, it's not, it's a reflection of something fundamental that you've been carrying with you for some time. Okay, so it's not just this one specific instance, and then it's isolated to this one thing, and once you solve it, it's all gone. That's not what I'm getting about this. There's something more fundamental here. Now, what I will recommend to you, there's several things that I recommend. One of them is there's a number of healing modalities that you could avail yourself for that are very, low cost. They're not any big thing. They're not medical in nature. They're not part of any conventional medical or psychotherapeutic or system that you're likely to refer to. This is outside of that realm of where you are and what you're dealing with. Now, part of what I'm getting here about this is there's an awakening, and they sound very, very strange, of why you would go through something so difficult and so challenging. That would also be a form of awakening, but that is precisely what I'm seeing and feeling here with this situation. That this is a vehicle or a catalyst for you to awaken to another level of your being that you've never even considered even exists before. So you can think of this challenge, problem, difficulty, circumstance as a doorway or a portal or an opening into another realm of consciousness, another realm of experiencing life, another realm of understanding spirit, and many, many layers of that. So it's going to be challenging to you, but you can get healing. There are healing methods and tools that will address the physical panic attacks, that will address some of what's going on for you on this level. However, it's not the final answer or the final solution. So you will be able to get some level of relief and some level of resolution
What
to
about the problem that I can't really move on while this is still going on? And
so
it
I
just
understand. I understand. I understand. And you're part of what is happening here is it beginning to open up to a level of trust in yourself that there is something far beyond your normal understanding of life, your normal regular understanding of who you are, what life is about, what your path in life is. There's many, many layers. And because your background is quite traditional, going through you've had an academic life, you've got advanced degrees in mathematics, you pursued a corporate job career, you've done a lot of conventional types of things and achieved some measure of success in that realm, but your soul wants something more. Your soul, your spirit wants something far greater, because who you are ultimately is very, very different from the life that you've had so far. You've lived one kind of life with one kind of identity, with one kind of viewpoint, and with one kind of belief system about what is real and what is not real. And this is an opening into another sphere. That's what I'm getting here from this answer. Because if you look at mathematically, and I know you relate to the mathematics, if you take a 12-sided cube, what is the probability of getting one of those 12 sides to show up when you roll them? That you can compute the probability of that. What is the probability of getting two of them, they're both 12-sided, to have essentially the same thing come up?
412
Two of
cube
them.
total.
Correct. All right, so that's what happened here. So the probabilities are very, very small for you to get this. So that's what's saying is that this is not a logical, rational, scientific thing. This is something that's
And what you
going
rolled
beyond.
was something that it's very pronounced, right? It's not usual.
Correct. It's extremely unusual and but if you were speaking to God, uh, if you had a
Which I'm
conversation.
still not doing right now.
No, I understand that. But
Yeah, I go to a black
I'm
church
trying
in
to
Chicago.
say, what I'm
Like,
trying to get across here is
they
that
pray for me. Okay.
the powers of the universe, the power of spirit, the power of God is trying to get your attention to wake up to something more than what you have ever considered and what you've ever felt or experienced or learned or known. And you're being challenged to the extreme, you're being challenged to the extreme in order to heal something deep that has been existence for a long time. And it's through that healing process, through the discovery and the healing process, that there is an awakening here to occur. There's some other awakening that goes beyond the physical and emotional healing, but they're related, they're connected together, if that makes any sense to you.
Um, it does a little bit, and what that reminded me of is kind of something that I've been like, overanalyzing and putting through my head for a while now. Like I
Yeah.
lost my mom several years ago to cancer, and that was like, I mean, she smoked her whole life, like that wasn't a surprise. Um, but as a result of these men being in my life, like I have lost cat. My husband's been dead for 10 years, for like 20 years. Like when I pass, like I don't want to keep living this life.
I
Like I want
understand.
to go back, I want to meet with them, and then I think we're going to leave for like Anon 9 or something, which I don't know if you know what that is from Carl Sagan.
Believe say that last
My
part
dad
again.
told me that's my planet. He used to watch Carl Sagan. He was like, he knew classified stuff. So Carl Sagan
Right,
was something you could watch on our Betamax.
right. I'm familiar with
It's
that.
basically like classified material that he kind of just borrowed and didn't return.
Right.
Um, but like it's like these anon things, like like QAnon
Yeah.
or
No,
like Steve Bannon,
I'm
whatever.
familiar.
That's where that terminology comes from. But it's basically like planets where life like there is on Earth would be able to be sustained.
Right.
So he said that Anon 9 is he gave me a planet as a kid, as an 8-year-old. He told me I could have Anon
Okay.
9.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all these things are relevant. Everything you're saying is relevant. It's important and relevant. Where your need to trust now, the biggest challenge for you is doing what's the near impossible part, which is patience and trust. Patience and trust are the hardest things for you right now. And they're also the most important for you right now. to have patience and trust, but not in a passive way. I want to stress this is very, very important because the reason why you're speaking to me is because I'm an opening, a doorway, a catalyst. I'm not going to hand you a solution and to say, just do this and it's all going to be solved. I am a opening to another realm of gifted people, of healers, or people who have methods and tools to help you go into the sphere and to do the healing and to do the discovery work that is there. And there are no accidents or coincidences. The fact that two people in literally just a matter of days shown up in my space who are experts in trauma, who who dealt with it, not only trauma specifically, but this specific traumas, I mean, sexual trauma and related different things and mediumship, etc. The fact that that happened juxtaposed in time is again, it's not, there are no coincidences or accidents. So that's the thing, is you're trusting something in you that's saying, I want to speak to Howard again because there's something there and I'm not sure what it is, but I want but I'm going to trust something there to see where it takes me. That's
Yeah, very
important.
much.
That is important, that you and I have developed a kind of a friendship, like a beginning friendship with open communication and trust and privacy. That's the opening, that's the beginning. And that's what I want you to trust. And trust that this will take you somewhere. This answer that you got on the dice, Neptune Pisces 12, is is the only possible way these three dice can show up. It's one, the probability is 1 divided by 12 to the third power. That is the chance of this. So the universe is resonating and it's communicating with us about this. It's not a mundane, this is not a mundane thing. This is a deep thing, okay? And as you develop more awareness and trust, and this awakening that I sense here is going on, your life is going to start to take a very different path, because your awareness is going to open up a realm of a possibility, a wealth understanding, and it's going to redefine your beliefs. It's going to redefine your priorities, right? And it's going to redefine what's really important to you moving forward. And you're going to be able to use your background, your accomplishments, your academic achievements, all of those things, and but know that your direction is something bigger, bigger and deeper. And again, it's ironic. There's more irony here that I went through a similar journey, going through mathematics, being in a PhD. I didn't finish my PhD when you did, but there's still a parallel sort of a
I finished
parallel
my
thing.
PhD with a bad advisor because I had published so many previous papers. Like I just took 12 papers and like wrote just like compendia, into a thesis. And
Right in,
my new
right.
advisor told me she would see it through. Like
Yeah,
it's
what happened for me is that I did the oral, I went through the oral exams, the PhD orals, okay?
yeah.
And if I had gone completed that, I would have moved into the thesis. I would have moved into the thesis stage, and I was already working with an advisor on convex sets, and we were already making some really major progress in that area. I was also very interested in topology. So topology, convex
Oh,
sets.
so you're like from like the other side of mathematics. I do number theory and a little bit of
Yeah,
combinatorics. Okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never even taken a topology class, honestly.
No, yeah, no, but that was my interest. I also had a strong interest in the recursive, the Gödel incompleteness, the Gödel incompleteness recursive function, because they use recursive functions within the proof of the Gödel incompleteness theorem. So I had a strong interest in that. In fact, when I was in high school,
You did logic. You did logic.
logic, yeah,
Logic.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, they
mathematical
say no
logic.
one does logic anymore, but it's just
Yeah, yeah,
some people who
yeah.
feel I have an attitude at someone who's one of their peers. Anyway, it's not worth going
They
into.
went out. One of the things the chairman of the math department would invite me to come and speak to his seniors, his super bright seniors, because I would introduce not only the Gödel stuff, but the George Cantor, the George Cantor stuff. Do you have some familiar with the transfinite numbers and stuff?
Not so much.
Well, you
Like
you
I
probably
know
heard,
the irrationality proof, like that they're like like the with the
yeah,
real
yeah.
number. What's
Yeah,
this?
no, I'm talking about the countably infinite. You've heard that when
Yeah,
a set is countably infinite,
yeah.
that it's countably infinite means that it's
Okay,
in.
so okay, so it's one of those like like nested sets kind of things, right?
Well, if you have a countably infinite set, then it can be mapped to the integers. And then and the rational numbers as a set or count can be proven to be countably infinite in that they can be mapped one to one.
Countably infinite
And
things are easy to deal with, as
well,
opposed
what you
to
can prove though that irrational numbers, the set of irrational numbers is not countably infinite as it cannot be mapped to the integers. And that's how the real numbers are deemed to be in a different order, a different order of infinity.
have you
And
read
George, yeah,
Knuth's surreal numbers? That was something when I was studying that when I was like a freshman in college. Took this honors course. They okay, so we study the integers, right? Then they build the rational numbers from like the integers and the integers, right?
yeah,
Then
yeah,
you move on to the real numbers with completeness, and then you do the
yeah,
complex numbers, which is like two copies of the reals and whatever. The professor who was teaching the class told me to read Knuth's surreal numbers. It's really just more like a diatribe or like like a more like a philosophical like perspective on things.
yeah. No, there's a number of papers like that, but the Cantor used the Hebrew letter Aleph.
Yeah, yeah, like
Right.
all yeah,
Olive zero, olive one.
right.
But then what interested me back in those days was something called the continuum hypothesis, which was, to best of my knowledge, was never really resolved. It's like a conjecture, like you were saying earlier. It's kind of a conjecture because C of the continuum, which is the number that is associated with the cardinal number associated with the real number system, the hypothesis is C the next, is it the next transfinite, or is there another transfinite between the Aleph zero of the integers? Is C actually equal to Aleph one, meaning that it's the next order of infinity?
Kind of like
And
is P equal NP kind of thing, but for logic, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's an unanswered. I believe it's an unanswered question. Now, you could ask AI whether it's been answered. I think it's a conjecture and an unanswered question, and it may even be unsolvable. There may even be proofs that it's unsolvable. I don't know. But Cantor unfortunately wound up in a mental institution near the near the end of his
Maybe
life.
he's met the same people I have. Like they would like to do that. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
man who
But
attacked
but
me
but
completely.
anyway, I'm just sharing this with you because to give you a sense of where my focus was, back then. And I broke free of that world, but I have such a- I mean, to this day, a passion for it. I've never lost my passion for that. It's just simply one part of me that I completed that chapter and I was done with it. And then I went on to a whole other chapter of my existence, and it was another dimension, another soul level, another soul manifestation. Okay, I completed a chapter, then I went on to the next thing, and then I tapped into another area because I mean, no one would have ever been able to convince me, in my early days, that I would ever be involved in astrology. but I discovered that I had this awareness of it or this knowledge of it already. In fact, I scared the hell out of
Yeah,
my
and I
teacher.
actually have some Native American heritage, so some of this, like,
Oh, okay.
makes sense kind of stuff. Like my mom, like 5 generations back, there was a Cherokee chief in my family. Like
Oh, okay.
coming from my mom, it's actually like a really really strong force. Like it might just be like the last like pure Cherokee person in the family was like 4 generations ago, but like
Yeah,
just having a
right.
little bit of that in you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is and so now I want to introduce you to another thing that occurred yesterday. Again, there's an amazing synchronicity. I met with a woman yesterday who is she lives in she actually lives in Ontario, Canada. She lives in Barre, Ontario. I don't know exactly where it's near. It could be near Toronto. I'm not sure. But she does something called what's the name of it? Ancestral, not ancestral healing. Oh, constellation. That's right. The word is constellation work. She does family constellation healing work. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you just a tiny bit of it because you can speak to her and she could go on about it. Plus, the other thing with her is her name is Diana Lopez, and she's actually originally from Venezuela. She was born in Venezuela, but she lived in the United States, or rather Canada, for a long time. Anyway, the thing about constellation work is mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing, because what it is that whole family constellations, brother, sister, mother, father, child, daughter, all these family constellations, they are ancestral. There's a whole ancestral dimension of family constellations, where what that means is that once you have a certain family constellation, you go through lifetimes where you change places within the constellation, but you still stay connected on a soul level, energetic level. Okay. She can explain it much better than I can, but you get the general gist of it. Now, what she does is she helps breaking ancestral contracts, because at a soul level, families will form contracts and agreements with each other to do certain things over and over and over again within different layers and lifetimes, as a way to honor each other, as a way to honor, even though the agreements can be very destructive or very disempowering or very hurtful, but there are ancestral contracts that cause family constellations to repeat certain patterns in ancestral and connections in different lifetimes. So what this woman does, and completely amazing, right? She actually is able to work with the whole constellation at one time in one session, where she helps the family dynamic break the ancestral contract, break the ancestral pattern of what is continually getting repeated again and again. Okay. I'm not saying that you're in one of those things. I don't really know. You could be in something like that, or it could be something completely different. I have no idea. But only reason I'm mentioning this to you is, why the heck am I meeting these people within 2 days of the time I'm meeting you? I mean, it's bizarre, right? It's crazy. It's bizarre, right? Okay. The other woman I met earlier is trauma, specifically trauma, which could be sexual trauma or it could be other forms of trauma, right? The other woman I'm meeting with today, her name's Taiwana Yvette. I don't know where she lives, but she's also in a very esoteric specialty area that she's working and now what's interesting about it is, these people are going to be, or already are, in the Facebook group, because they're all joining the Facebook group, right? Because I've invited everybody to join. Okay. So you'll have ready access to them there to interact with them, or I can connect you with them directly if you want. right? And you can interact with them and learn about what they do. And if I had to bet that why I would say once you tell them a little bit about what you're going through and what's been happening, they'll feel into your field. They'll just literally just be able to tune into your field and get all kinds of stuff coming through what is going on. I don't have that ability. I don't have that level. I mean, I could look at your chart, I could look at the planets, I could look at the aspects, and I could see a lot, and I can ask the dice and I can get insights there. But that's what they do. That's another level. That's a specialty. You
So it's
don't,
kind of like a psychic kind of thing.
it's in psychic would be a very loose, broad term.
Like because of the Native American heritage, I've also
Right.
I understand that. Like I don't
And
want to
I'm very and I'm very
label.
hesitant. I'm very hesitant to put labels on things because unfortunately labels can be misleading or labels can cause you to judge. Some people will judge things based on the label,
Yeah,
but we don't have in our English language all the nuances, all the subtleties and nuances of all these different energetic, spiritual practices, tools, skills, gifts at genius. There's just too many things going on there, and our society has not evolved far enough along to be able to have a respect, to be able to honor and respect all of these different modalities and gifts and specialties, right? But they're showing up for a purpose. I mean, there are many purposes why they're showing up. One of the purposes they're showing up is because these people want to be more successful in their businesses and they want to, right? They want to have more clients, more money, and that I'm a vehicle for that to open those doors for them. But that's not the only reason. There are multiple reasons, right? There's multiple different things because these modalities that we're all doing, they all have a relationship, a connection, and a relationship to each other. But I can look at a birth chart and see something that can help them see something. What they see something or know something or feel something could be affect something that I do. It's an interconnected network. It's very much of of an interconnected zone with different things, right? So yeah, I mean Simona Hudova is a woman I'm meeting today who's from the Czech Republic. I mean, originally back when she grew up, but now she lives in Portland, Oregon, and she does hypnotherapy. So, and you get the idea. Just so many layers and levels and facets to the diamond, and anyway, that kind of thing.
not
Okay.
I understand that because again of like the Native American
Yeah.
aspect, of, like
Yeah.
my heritage and stuff like that. Like I've met my spirit guide before. Like for
Yeah.
example, going to explain to
That's
people,
right.
and it's
That's the
not
key.
something that you can like go to a doctor
Right.
and say and have them take seriously. But I've met my spirit guide.
Right.
You also have to understand that not only by training, but just because of like the way my brain works, that I'm very analytical about things. Like I want like a
I know
scientific
that.
explanation.
I knew that the moment I met you. I saw that. But
Yeah.
you've had a lot of years of developing an ingrained analytical mode of being, which has become super dominant for you, and not in a bad way. I mean, I'm not judging it in any manner. It's just what you've done. I've seen a lot of mathematicians. I've been around mathematicians. Okay, I was around the guy when I went to Stony Brook for my original graduate mathematics graduate work. I had a professor there, this young man from MIT. So he taught our advanced mathematical logic course, his graduate level mathematical logic. He was from MIT, where he did his specialty. He was a nutcase. I mean, he was essentially a nutcase, right? Because he would come in and we only had 5 people in the class. It was one of these advanced courses, and we met in his office, right? And he would come in, and there was a blackboard there. They still had chalk back in those days. He would literally fill the board with, he wouldn't even pay any attention to us. It wasn't even relevant that we were even there. He would come in and fill the blackboard up and then he would erase it, and he would fill it up, and then he would erase it, fill it, and he wouldn't even, as far as I could tell, he didn't even pay much attention to any of us that were in the room. It wasn't even, he had no connection with us. Okay. So my point I'm making is that he was in a zone, he was in his own zone, he was in his own world. There was not really any relationship functioning at in an interpersonal level. He was in that world. And again, not bad, not good, not right, not wrong. Just it was in a zone, right? Uh, and I noticed that with a lot of the professors, that were teaching graduate students, they would be in a zone and there wasn't very much interaction. And I miss that. And I miss that, because even when I was an
I do have to get
undergraduate,
going at 2 o'clock though. I'm just gonna give you like, go ahead and finish up.
yeah, we should finish up. And I've got, well, my next appointment is at one Pacific.
Okay.
And I know I'm rambling a bit, but and anyway, let me put you connected with some of these people. I'll let you have your conversation with them wherever that goes. I totally trust that that will be okay. All right. You take care of yourself as best as you can. Drink lots of water,
Yeah.
get lots of water, get as much sleep as you can, and concentrate on focusing your attention in a very deliberate way. Like practice deliberate attention. Focus on something and then keep your entire focus of attention on that one thing. Could be an art object, it could be music. If you like music, okay, or if you like writing, whatever it is, pick something and put all your attention on it, all of it, for a period of time, like let's say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. Then what I want you to do is practice picking some other object for your attention and putting all your attention on that object. And you know what I mean? And practice attention on something. And if you want to practice attention on some part of your body, drill down deep. If you want to put attention on your stomach or your heart or whatever it is, or a muscle, and I think it's going to begin to help you. It's not going to solve the problem right now, but it's going to begin to help you. So do that, and then let's talk again. Let's talk again soon, and I'll connect you with some of
How
these
about
people.
next Friday at the same time? Do you want me to book my appointment?
Let me just check here. Give me a second to look at it. Okay. Next is Friday is the 24th. So yeah, let's put it in for 11 a.m. Pacific again,
Okay, sounds good.
which is what we have today, 11 a.m. Pacific. Okay.
All right, it was good to talk to you. Have a good week. Okay.
Yeah, it's good to talk with you too, and hang in there and just stay open. That's the main thing. Just stay open, keep loving yourself, keep loving, and then be open to asking intuitive questions. See what comes through to you. Okay.
I will try my best.
Okay. Very good.
I'll
You'll
see you
you'll
later.
do you'll do good.
All right, bye.
I'm glad we spoke today.
Okay.
Bye.